My name is Alex Sheen, and I'm the founder of Because I Said I Would.
I'm Alex Sheen. Because I said I would. Alex, founder of Hi everyone. Because I said I would.
At the beginning of 2014, I made a promise to volunteer at a different nonprofit organization every single week for 52 weeks in a row. Have you ever made a promise and you were like, man, this is a great idea. And then later you're like, you should probably stop opening your mouth. This video is about my top 10 favorite moments in my 52-part New Year's promise. This is not mac and cheese. No, it's actually those little bars of soap that your grandma steals from Hampton Inn. Clean the World is a nonprofit organization that takes unused soap, even slightly used soap from hotels. They recycle it, they clean it, they sanitize it to a laboratory condition. They ship it out to third world countries to help fight diarrheal disease. Did you know that diarrheal disease is the leading cause of death in children under 5 years old? And one way that we can fight this is have them wash their hands. It's really simple. I didn't know that. You see, volunteering isn't just helping, it's an opportunity to learn. You gotta remember that these nonprofit organizations are the same people who are fighting some of the greatest tragedies that humanity faces. In these challenges, they learn a lot about life, a lot that you can learn. This year I learned how to stick dance. I tried to learn how to stick dance. I helped put on a fundraising effort for children's education in India. This experience taught me that, volunteering isn't always some kind of really sad Sarah McLachlan commercial. It can be helping fundraise. It can be dancing in a gym in your socks with a bunch of strangers you never met. Now I know I just said that volunteering isn't a Sarah McLachlan commercial always, but sometimes that's exactly what it is. I volunteered at 3 different animal shelters this year. I mean, look at these babies. Look at this one. Okay, now look at this one. Look at this one. Look at that face! Look at these faces! I love kimchi. And no, not the spicy pickled Korean cabbage. That's actually my dog's name. I love my dog. I love dogs. I love helping dogs. And what you should do is think about what you love. What do you love? What are you interested in? Use that to drive you to help others. I traveled about 300 days this year, but when I was at home, I tried to volunteer locally. I volunteered in my own neighborhood at the Lakewood Earth and Food Community. We're talking hipster level 9,000 kind of stuff, right? This is really organic food, local farmers. Their mission is to create a more healthy and sustainable community through environmentally conscious actions. On this week, I noticed something that I saw as a trend throughout these 52 weeks of volunteering. And that trend was being asked to move boxes and heavy things, grabbing things off of shelves. I mean, this bag of cabbage is like 80 pounds. I was always being asked this because more often than not, I was the only guy under 40 years old showing up to volunteer. Now, this isn't an indictment against all younger males, but generally speaking, we need to do a better job of showing up. I mean, you see it in movies all the time. That superhero character, that young male at the last scene swoops in to save someone. Yet we're not doing this in real life. Let's use our strength. Bottom line, guys, help carry the load. One person. I volunteered at a place called The Littlest Heroes, and there was only one person on staff at this nonprofit organization. Her name was Joanne, and yes, they have board members, and yes, they have volunteers, but imagine working in sort of that solitude as one person leading this effort. In this moment, I realized how small nonprofit organizations can truly be, sometimes left to just an individual's effort. Without resources, they fight to make a difference, struggling just to keep the lights on. And in that struggle is a constant reminder, a reminder of why they're in that fight. It's not for a paycheck, it's not for glory, it's to make a difference. This all too common scenario that's played out across the country and the world reminds me of a quote. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. During the week of Thanksgiving, a grand jury decided not to indict a police officer who killed a young man named Michael Brown. Immediately after this announcement, people decided to take the tragedy in this loss of life and use it as an excuse to loot, to riot, to steal from innocent business owners. Now, I completely despised these acts, and I remember thinking, sitting on my couch, just sort of hating on what these people were doing. But the truth is, the emotions we have, that doesn't add up to anything compared to our actions. On Thanksgiving Eve, I drove through the night with Amanda from Cleveland, Ohio to Ferguson, Missouri. Found a family, the Baileys. They were actually painting boarded up buildings in a beautification project. And I thought this was a great idea, so I chipped in. Later on, they sent me a local calendar that was made that featured my crappy painting as January. One of the weeks I was actually in Florida. I was giving a speech, and after the event, I helped a nonprofit organization deliver Valentine's Day gifts to kids in the hospital who are going through cancer right now. We delivered these gifts right to their door. It was not only that gift, but a dinner and a movie. You know, these kids, they just need a little bit of light in their life, so having a visitor is just a big moment for them. Right before we went to the hospital, there was actually a grand opening at the facility for Base Camp Children's Cancer Foundation. This is the organization that I was volunteering for. They were opening Talia's room. Now, that name Talia might be familiar to you. She was on the Ellen DeGeneres show and was actually an honorary cover girl. I had the opportunity to meet Talia's sister, to meet her mother, and to express my deepest condolences for their loss. I watched my father die of small cell lung cancer, and I just really feel for those kids in the hospital and for the families affected by this disease. Okay, this is gonna sound weird at first, but stick with me. Imagine that you're a surgeon, okay? You're in the operating room and they hand you this tray of supplies before you get started. And in this tray of supplies, it's manufactured in a way so that you have everything that you need for this surgery. But there's special circumstances and things, so you only need 3 of these 7 pieces. So you go do surgery, but you know, all the rest of it is still sterile, still clean, unused. And what happens with that? Well, it's just thrown away. Just tossed into the garbage. MedWish is actually a nonprofit organization that works with healthcare providers to recover unused medical supplies and equipment. They redistribute these supplies, unused, perfectly good supplies, to developing countries where there is terrible need. Hospitals in the United States create about 5.9 million pounds of garbage each year, and a lot of that is actually unused medical supplies and equipment. And in this moment, I learned that even in garbage, there's hope. One of the weeks I got in a kayak and I actually paddled down the shoreline of this lake called Stroud's Run, which is really close to where I went to school. Go Bobcats. I picked up trash with one of those, like, you know, grabber arm thingies they market to old folks. I would have paid to do this. I mean, free kayak, sunshine, Bob Ross moments, all around just a good day. If your life is boring or stressful, try to find a volunteer opportunity out in nature. It might do the trick. I was actually in Germany and I needed to find a place to help, so I found this organization called Earthlink, and they promote information for making better decisions, more socially conscious decisions, better decisions for the environment. I literally vacuumed their office, like with a vacuum machine vacuum. Now, this moment may seem boring because it certainly was, but I bring it up because sometimes helping others, helping nonprofit organizations, that's not always the most entertaining thing. You know, I'd rather have the employees focusing on helping people, advancing the mission instead of vacuuming. And so if they need help in that area, then where's the vacuum? Because I probably should get started. Some nonprofit organizations, when you look at their volunteer opportunities, are quite limited. You know, they only offer a chance to volunteer on every other Thursday from 6 to 7:30 when the moon is a waning gibbous and the groundhog saw his shadow. Nonprofit organizations need to widen the number of opportunities they're offering people to help. There's so much energy out there, we just need to make it easier. Maybe vacuuming isn't the greatest example, but anyone who's tried to volunteer at a number of different places will understand that it just needs to get easier to get involved. So 2014 is in the books. I volunteered at a different nonprofit organization each week for 52 weeks. But don't think that I'm just some kind of do-gooder, everybody hold hands and talk about your feelings kind of guy. Because the truth is, some of the weeks, I didn't even want to go. I wanted to break the promise because I was tired of volunteering. But it's not always about what you want to do. No, this promise was about what must be done. Volunteer at 52 different nonprofit organizations in a year, and you will see the breadth of human suffering in this world. You see, this is not about some trophy. This isn't a game. This is about helping people who need you, people who need your strength. Find a volunteer opportunity today, and if you don't like it, find another. And if you don't like that one, find another, and keep doing that until you find your place.